Hello, everybody, again, and welcome to what should be on your list, session number 5. And the title that I've given to this session is Where Do My Dreams Come From? What's the source of my dreams? Okay, because I find that many Christians, hundreds and hundreds of you, are worried in case that dream is not of God, and how reliable is it? How dependable is it? And I quite get it. I quite understand, and it's very important to realize this. Okay, now what I'm going to try and talk to you about, it will be for a few minutes, but at least it will give you some basic keys. We've already talked about one or two of them in any case. We have dreams, if you look at some of the biblical examples, where the dream is absolutely pure. It is absolutely and utterly 100% God. The classic dream is the one of Jacob's ladder. And obviously everybody who knows their Bible knows the dream of Jacob's ladder. And it comes into that category, which I was describing in the last session, where it's a heavenly reality. Jacob is beholding, is looking on a heavenly reality. The ladder is really there. It's just that it's invisible to the physical world, and the angels are really there. He doesn't have to interpret them in any way, shape, or form. It's there and it's really happening. It's simply that Jacob happens to be asleep. He's absolutely exhausted, and we know he recognizes that it is a visitation from heaven. We know this because when he wakes up, he uses the stone that's been his pillow all the night, and he sets up a memorial, and he says, surely God was in this place and I knew it not. But actually he's accepted the reality. And for covenant people, you will notice that for covenant people, that God will introduce himself during the night. I haven't got the time to explain that now, but perhaps another time we could talk about that. And so Jacob has nothing to do with it, actually. It's simply God who is renewing a covenant with him, talking about the land, that he is going to inherit. And the dream is quite pure. Jacob doesn't have to worry about the source of the dream. We have other dreams that are absolutely scary. Okay, if you look at the state of Daniel, if you ever want to look at the visions and the dreams of the prophet Daniel, he is absolutely amazed by it. He's absolutely terrified by the things that he sees. The dreams are absolutely pure. He needs help because there's a high level of what I would call apocalyptic symbolism in them, where the animals represent a kingdom that is yet to come in the future on the earth, kingdoms that will be fighting before the final kingdom, which brings the return of Jesus, actually comes. And those dreams are absolutely scary. And it's simply because he has such a deep dependence and such a close relationship with his God that he gets those dreams at all. I'm not surprised he was sick for days after he got some of those visions and revelations, because he's seeing right into our time and beyond. He's seeing right into the future. And your body is affected by things like this. He's looking at future spiritual warfare. And in his own life, he has enough spiritual warfare going on as well. So don't think that because a dream is scary that it's not necessarily pure. All right, it potentially is apocalyptic, or it could be a dream where you are engaged in spiritual warfare. All right, so scary doesn't mean nightmare, therefore I forget about it. No, it doesn't. You need to look at what kind of dream it was. I tell the story once of how me and my husband once went on holiday. We needed a rest. We arrived exhausted. We went to sleep. And during the night, I was attacked by a scorpion that had hold of me around my neck. It woke me up because I was suffocating. And it was actually it was scary, but at the same time I was annoyed because I really wanted the holiday, So I said to the scorpion, leave me alone, I'm on holiday here. I've now realized that you're never actually on holiday, and I'd been recognized by some of the local powers and principalities that didn't appreciate me holidaying on their island, all right? I won't tell you the island in case it puts you off, because it's a nice island, and you might want to go on holiday yourself there. And so what I actually did was rebuke the thing in tongues. And then the next thing I knew, I woke up. And I said to my husband, I said, did anything strange happen in the night? And he looked at me. He said, well, I didn't sleep too well. And I said, why not? He said, well, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you woke me up. You were asleep, but you were sitting up in the bed with your hand reached out, and you were pointing and you were rebuking something that I couldn't see. And it gave me such a bad time. I got the shivers. It was horrible. You shouted at it in tongues, and then you stopped, fell back onto the bed and went to sleep. But he said, me, I was ooh for the rest of the night. That was scary, but it was real spiritual warfare. The dream was pure, okay, in that sense. And I found the proof of it in the days that followed as we explored the island. There really are metal scorpions there representing some kind of spiritual reality, all right? Then we get the disturbing dreams, a category, where I was, if you can remember, if you listened to that particular teaching, mixed dreams, where I was talking to you about Proverbs 25 and the purification that goes on in a dream. And the symbolism can sometimes be embarrassing. Sometimes we're very disturbed. We might call it a nightmare, but in actual fact, the word nightmare is never mentioned once in the Bible, which indicates to me that all dreams can be useful. It's how we, you look on them. And I'm giving you some examples of common ones that I've had over the last 12 years and more. Sometimes we can see dead people. We can talk to them in our dreams. Now, anybody who's in the evangelical movement will know that it's not a good thing to talk to dead people, right? Or we might dream of our family house. We might be reliving old traumas. We might see things, I'm going to say it, of even a sexual, emotional nature that we find deeply disturbing. We might find that people we love are acting out of character. It's actually quite common, that my beloved father in my dream is now shouting at me and telling me that I'm useless, or a loved one is being cruel to me, saying hurtful things. Or perhaps I dream of friends, who I've trusted, and they're saying horrible things about me. And we wonder what to do, and we can wake up and it can be so vivid that we think that the thing has really happened. It's actually very cruel. And certainly there can be some demonic interference. But can I just give you some real helpful keys? Do not discard that dream. Don't say it was a horrible nightmare. You may be one of the people, it's very common, you'll have similar so-called nightmares repeating themselves. You're being chased. Something horrible's coming behind you, some monster. And you get to the cliff edge and you realize you can't go back because the monster's chasing you. But if you jump off the cliff, you're going to die. And then you wake up. And that repeats and repeats and repeats. Can I say this to you? That we are spirit, soul, and body. And very often these dreams are indicative of us needing some form of healing, deliverance, being set free from past traumas. It could be in my life, it could be in my generational line, or it can even be something, if your nation has passed through great trauma, it can be linked to that as well, okay? And if I'm wise, what I will do, I will go before the Lord and I will take a friend, okay, who's speaking to me kindly to listen, and I may discover that I need some deliverance from trauma, or that I haven't quite resolved what's happened in my past, and that the monster, it's behind you. You see, it's like the pantomimes, isn't it? It's behind you. And it's something that's coming from your past. Perhaps you've tried to hide it. You've tried to stuff it away. But now God, because you've said, I want to understand my dreams and my visions, now God is with you and he will help you revisit some of these places and he will set you free. And I absolutely guarantee you, when that happens, you won't ever have those disturbing dreams again. All right? There will be a healing for your soul. The fractured places where I've been damaged in my soul, now's the time to heal it. And because we are that much more vulnerable while we sleep, it's then that we're going to have these things. And yes, the enemy wants to disturb your sleep. He also wants you to say, I don't want any more dreams like that. Actually, we can't avoid spiritual warfare. And we dare not, I think, ignore the fact that some of us have been deeply hurt in the past. Because if you do that, you'll regret it. And so many times, in dream schools, we've seen people healed, set free, delivered from sexual abuse, from all manner of trauma, from violence, from all kinds of things. We've seen them set free. And the dreams that were troubling them, that came over and over again, those dreams just stopped. And I pray for all of us that we will recognize the difference and that you will see healings, not just for you, for your generational line, that it will go down now, your children, your grandchildren, and that you'll understand if you see people behaving out of character, this is the enemy trying to disturb you. It isn't true. The enemy is trying to make something up, probably because you've got a fear of being deceived or being betrayed, particularly if it's happened to you a lot in the past. Or perhaps you've got a fear of being shamed. You've a fear of being humiliated. God wants to deal with that. So please don't discard the dreams that you find disturbing. Write them down. Obviously, very obviously, you must take them to a safe and secure person, okay, who will not laugh, who will not mock, but who will listen before jumping in with the interpretation, and that together you'll be able to deal with those things that need dealing with. And I pray that will be your case. Amen to the healings, to the deliverances, to the healing of the fractures in our souls, and for the emergence of the pure dreams, even if it's spiritual warfare from the enemy. The dream is not lying. It's really going on. It's just that you're asleep. I hope that's helpful. I really, really, with all my heart, hope that this little section is helpful for you. God bless.